Bonjour YouTube, welcome back to our channel. Today we take you to Senlis. On y va. Since its creation in the Gallo-Roman era, Senlis has continued to enrich itself throughout history. Back in the 2nd century, Senlis was an important military place and was surrounded by a Gallo-Roman protective wall that is still visible today. By the middle of the 4th century, Saint-Reuil evangelized the city and became its bishop.
In 987, Hugh Capet was elected King of France within the royal castle. His dynasty favored religious and economic life of the city. In the 12th century, Senlis experienced one of its most sumptuous periods during the reign of Louis VI the Fat. As you walk around this city, you cannot help but feel like this place has seen some major historic developments.
So Sinan decided to use the second camera that we have, the first one that we were using, the Canon 250D, and now because of that, he's always walking around taking pictures, you know. While I'm filming, he's like walking around learning. Good!
I'm a tourist now.
It's so pretty here. The whole city is like a medieval village. It's beautiful. It's like as if you're walking on a set of a film.
Initially, this city was surrounded by the protective walls, and behind me you can see the remaining of the protective wall, which dates back to 3rd century. And while we are walking around this small town, it reminds me of Lyon. So far, I really enjoyed this town, and I didn't expect this at all.
Someone was in the car, some lady was in the car, and she just saw me with the camera and she was like this. She was very excited for some reason, I don't know. Anyway, so this town reminds me a lot of Lyon as well, because first of all, everything seems to be built from limestone. So everything is beige, and that's my favorite material. I absolutely love architecture in this type of material. And second, it's just as beautiful as Lyon, in a sense that you've got this Gallo-Roman walls, protective walls, you've got this gorgeous medieval houses, then a bit later epoch of, 16th, 17th century houses. It's just beautiful.
During the 14th and 15th centuries, the city's peace and economic wealth ended due to the 100 Years' War and the plague. Senlis would have to wait until Louis XI for the defensive works to be done and strengthened.
Aside from the revolution in 1789, which didn't really cause much damage to the city with exceptions of heads being chopped off the statues of Notre-Dame Cathedral, the year was marked by the Bayonne attack. This watchmaker, upset at having been expelled from the arquebuse company, blew up his house at the time of their arquebusier parade. 26 people were killed and 40 wounded. You know what's really cool? 2 years ago, we were in Le Mans. You can check the episode up here. We were in Le Mans and we wanted to go into the cathedral, and it was around June that we recorded it as well. And there was a ceremony, and today is the same thing, but in Senlis. And we are waiting for it to finish so we can go into the cathedral. There are a lot of children and generally a lot of people. Some of the kids, actually all of the kids, I think, are dressed into this white robes with a cross.
And that's another tower. That's the continuation of the protective wall of Gallo-Roman time. Behind me you can see the statues on the door at the entry. In France, oftentimes the heads are chopped off after the French Revolution. However, here you can see how well maintained the statues are. And you can even see the colors actually. Normally you don't see neither the color nor the heads, but here it's well preserved. I really like this.
Notre-Dame Cathedral was built from 1153 to 1191.
Today is the day we completed all 7 cathedrals in Picardie region. We are so happy and proud of this achievement.
Look what I found here. La da da. This is Saint Louis, and he's holding the crown. He's bringing the crown of thorns. This cathedral, by the way, is the smallest of the 7 in Picardie. We visited the Art and Archaeology Museum of Senlis and learned about its history as well as the local artists who have left their mark on the city. One of these prominent artists is Séraphine Louis, a housekeeper who taught herself how to paint and was discovered by a famous German art collector. She enjoyed her notoriety very shortly before ending her days in the Clermont-de-Loise psychiatric hospital. Her story is a tragic one. Séraphine Louis was born into a modest family in Arcy, in the Oise, on September 3, 1864. Orphaned at the age of 7, she was raised by her older sister before entering the convent of Charity of Providence in Clermont-de-Loise. In 1906, she moved to Senlis, where she worked as a housekeeper in large bourgeois families. She began to draw and paint on small canvases, wooden panels, terracotta pots, and cardboard.
In 1912, Séraphine Louis was hired as a housekeeper at William Ude, critic and art dealer, friend of Picasso and Braque. However, in 1914, war broke out. William Ude, of German origin, was forced to leave France. 13 years later, Séraphine produced larger canvases and exhibited 6 of them at the exhibition of the Society of Friends of the Arts at the Hôtel de Ville de Senlis. It is said that when painting, Séraphine was guided by her belief in God, especially the Virgin Mary.
On February 21, 1932, after a severe psychotic crisis, she was interned in the psychiatric hospital of Clermont-de-Loise.
She died on December 11, 1942, at the age of 78 from breast cancer, but also probably from malnutrition. In total oblivion, she was buried anonymously in the common grave of the Clermont Cemetery.
Today, some of her largest canvases are estimated at several €100,000. So we find ourselves now in the park of the Château, Château Royal. This is where the kings used to live, and obviously this is just the remainder of the chateau, and behind me is also the wall that surrounded the city. It dates back to the 3rd century, the Gallo-Roman wall.
We just spent 1.5 hours in the Museum of Art and Archaeology. I really liked it. I don't know if they have a guided tour every day, but to our chance, we had it. So when you come here, it is better if you take the guided tour. After a long day, I decided to try their local brand. It's called Stoneless beer. So I'm not sure how it tastes, but it's worth trying. It's very weird, actually. I don't know. It's very light. I like it.
So what did you think of Senlis?
To be honest, I wasn't expecting this at all. because I tried watching some videos on YouTube, but unfortunately there were none. But now there is one good video.
I absolutely love this town because first of all, it's like an open air museum. Wherever you walk, you've got these beautiful streets. I mean, amazing. And in general, I love how alive it is.
Yeah.
There are some really good boulangeries. There are some places that we couldn't visit because first of all we didn't have time, and second, some of them were closed.
Yeah.
And we actually think of this place as an oasis in the area. So whenever we want to go back and rest from all the hustle and bustle of the region Île-de-France, because this is not Île-de-France, but this is very close to Île-de-France.
Yeah.
We actually think that coming here is a very good idea. People are all out on the streets.
Inflation hasn't passed here.
Oh yeah, the prices are good.
Yeah.
The prices are really good. It's not bad at all. So we highly recommend Senlis.
Thank you for joining us today. If you like this episode, I am sure you will be liking this one as well. Until next week, au revoir.